Next up, we have Laura Fryer talking about exactly why Xbox specifically is having issues. And we've known about these issues for years and years.
We've all heard the dream. Give creative studios total freedom and they will make magic. But at Xbox, that dream has turned into a very expensive nightmare. This is what I call the freedom trap.
Every corporation,
creative freedom
really.
is incredible. It's completely okay to explore niche ideas, tell personal stories, or even include messages the publisher wants to see in your game. That's your choice as a creator. The issue isn't what you make. The issue is when you explore higher risk or niche topics, but still build the team, the budget, and the timeline as if it were a mainstream blockbuster. It's when you don't test those ideas early with real players to see if there's actually a market before making a blind commitment.
I don't even think it matters if there is a market. I think that it's just becoming too expensive. You have to downsize. You can't just keep doing the bigger and better. You got to make Xbox 360 era games again.
Everyone could see that Keeper was a short, surreal, artistic, niche game. Yet nobody seemed willing to have the hard conversation about realistic expectations and scoping the project accordingly.
You know, he's just like, what's the most unpitchable idea that I could present to Microsoft, who's stuck with us, and see if they approve it? And it did. And so we're just like, okay.
You have to scope the project and the team size to match the
I never saw that before.
Otherwise, you're not being brave. You're being reckless with other people's careers. Imagine you're a parent watching your kid play near a busy street. You want them to explore, be creative, take risks, learn. You don't want to be a helicopter parent who controls every move. But if you're too hands-off, that kid can run straight into traffic.
Like
Good
Roblox.
leadership, whether you're a parent or running a huge gaming division, is that
you know what happens on Roblox.
difficult balancing act. You give autonomy, but you also set clear boundaries and step in before things go off a cliff.
I have a pretty strict rule about not sticking my nose into game design. I am here to tell you, and I will say, that our goal is to change as absolutely little about this studio as possible.
That's why these jobs are so tough. Too much control kills creativity. Too little control wastes hundreds of millions of dollars and ends careers. And that's exactly...
You can't just be making games and media for money anymore. There's no money in it. You got to have passion. You got to be willing to make games for a few who will pay more without you asking for more.
What went wrong here?
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow.
After Microsoft started buying up studios and doubling down on Game Pass, the message to a lot of teams became, go be creative, fill the service. Sales aren't the main priority anymore. And then leadership stepped back too far. Many studios heard that and ran with it. They were growing their teams, they were extending their timelines, they were chasing ambitious, niche ideas. They were doing what they were encouraged to do.
You do need to go for niche ideas, but it can't be just like random. You have to know your community and don't alienate your audience, because that's a problem a lot of them do. They alienate the audience and then they try and spend $300 million to create a new audience.
How much were we spending? What was the goal? Little by little, we added more people, and it was like a train that we couldn't stop.
But when the rules changed and the focus shifted back toward profitability, a lot of those projects couldn't stand on their own. And this is where we are today. I've been through many acquisitions, and I've watched many fail. When a company gets acquired, they often forget how to run a business. They listen to the siren song of their new masters, and they lose what made them great in the first place.
You pitch RAD. You know, I very much developed RAD around the idea of...
I never even heard of this.
Because I knew how much money we had to get for it. I knew no one was going to give us that much money unless it was attached to an understandable genre that was making money at a small scale.
Why do the graphics look so good? Not like good as in actually good. Good as in, why are they look expensive for such a small style game? Like, what were you thinking?
I like roguelikes. It wasn't like I made something I didn't want.
Look at Double Fine in San Francisco as a clear case. Microsoft acquired them in 2019 when they were still a smaller, more nimble indie studio. After joining Xbox, the team grew from around 40 to 60 people to roughly 100 employees in one of the most expensive cities in the world.
It's a new Double Fine. We remodeled. This is our new space. This is Suite 208. We have a multi-purpose board game area and yoga space.
What the fuck? Why? There's the immediate sign for failure right there. Yoga space. Just do the fucking work, man. That's how you know that they're not actually passionate.
Since then, they've shipped Psychonauts 2, Keeper, and Kiln. Both Keeper and Kiln peaked at only around 190 concurrent players on Steam. They got decent Game Pass trials, but almost nobody bought them at full price. Keeper did pick up some awards and nominations for its art direction, its visuals, and accessibility, but this is where the industry bubble comes in. Games can get reviewed well and even win awards while having very little commercial success. You saw this with Mixtape. It's already getting early.
By the way, okay, going back to the yoga thing, I just made a connection. Have they never seen Grandma's Boy? I don't think they have. Because the leader of the game studio in Grandma's Boy was like this yogi freak.
Awards buzz, despite modest sales and plenty of debate about whether or not it even feels like a traditional game. Remember when Phil Spencer talked about Redfall's pre-release mock reviews? He mentioned they were internally expecting high 80s, but the game landed much lower. That's a classic bubble problem.
On the score, yeah, we do mock reviews for every game that we launch, and this is like double digits lower than we thought we would be.
But here's where it gets complicated. It's easy to look at numbers and blame corporate greed, and sure, there's some of that, but I've lived this exact situation. At one point, I was running a bunch of studios, and we had just acquired 2, and they couldn't be more different. One was focused and successful, and the other one was a cash fire with a very ambitious project. When we toured the successful studio, they actually had buckets on the rafters so that when it rained, they could catch the water.
Yeah,
the
that's
other
passion.
studio had just moved into one of the biggest, most expensive waterfront offices available.
And if you play Game Dev Simulator, Game Developer Simulator, or whatever it is on Steam, and you get to the point where you're generating like hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and you've got like 100 people on a team, it becomes difficult to manage, and it's easy for it to fall apart. You start like coming up with ways to make money. You start doing crazy deals. You start just making things that you know will make money, and then eventually they don't make money, even though you know for a fact they will make money. Obviously, they've never played that game. They just don't play games. They're doing yoga.
We immediately got to work fixing both, upgrading the leaky office and getting the other studio out of their expensive lease and into a more reasonable location. Was it easy to tell the failing studio they had to move? No, it sucked, okay? I caught a lot of heat. People were really upset. It was not fun. But I knew it was the right thing to do for the long-term viability of the studio. I wanted to keep as many talented developers as I could. So this isn't a new pattern, and it has shared accountability. Double Fine could have stayed leaner. They could have moved to a lower-cost location. Microsoft could have stepped in with clearer boundaries sooner, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, Microsoft doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
The guys who are in charge.
Just look at Windows. Their biggest product, and it's failing. And it's so hard that they've had to acknowledge it.
Booty and Phil Spencer, top-notch dudes. Super respect those guys. They're great. They're gonna come in.
This right here is part of the problem too. This guy is super fucking lame. So you know that all of the ideas that he has are super fucking lame too.
Smile, point. You guys keep on doing what you do. Woo, we're like, yeah. 2 days later, Steve from accounting and Bill from marketing shows up. Then we have problems.
Steve from accounting and Bill from marketing.
We saw some of the same issues with Redfall and Perfect Dark. Massive talent exodus, morale problems, slow progress, teams that even hoped Microsoft would...
I think the biggest problem that we have is a lot of these devs and a lot of these people that are working on these projects are just super fucking lame, dude.
Cancel or reboot the projects. The red flags were everywhere, yet action wasn't taken soon enough. This is the freedom trap in action. Creative freedom is incredible, but it has to be managed. What Microsoft did was hand out broad freedom across the entire portfolio. They scaled up studios for Game Pass volume without keeping the old portfolio discipline that provided real oversight and course correction.
Today, we're double that size or greater. You know, we're part of a first-party organization. We're part of one of the largest content-producing organizations in the world now, and well on our way to making State of Decay 3 with a much greater level of ambition and support behind us.
You can't lock in massive scope, long schedules, and big teams while expecting every game to work, especially when Game Pass makes it much harder to judge real commercial demand. No.
Yeah, they just did a whole bunch of shitty long-term decisions for a bunch of short-term cash.
Nobody, not Satya, not Phil, not Sarah, not the studio leaders, nobody put on the brakes when the warning signs were obvious. Right now, under Asha Sharma.
Yeah, they're throwing Asha under the bus. Guarantee you, at whenever it's all said and done, she's either going to leave and go somewhere else. She's going to fail upward. She's probably going to get promoted to a higher position at another company. Or they're going to completely fire her and blame everything on her. They're going to do that either way.
Sharma's leadership, Xbox is in the middle of a major reset.
Xbox will keep investing, but we've got work to do. You shared the numbers. We're not in a healthy spot. And so, you know.
Dude, I reported this on Threads, and people pushed back against it. They were like, oh, the Xbox is in a healthy spot. What are you talking about? I'm like, bro, did you not fucking watch the interview?
Next 100 days is going to be about resetting the business.
There are strong rumors that several studios, including Double Fine, are in serious negotiations and could be on the chopping block.
There's so many small ones too. Oh, this one pisses me off. I was actually excited for Senua because I like the Senua games, the Hellblade games. I mean, they're short cinematic experiences, but I'm fine with that. I didn't pay much money for them. I got them for like $5 each. So I was excited that they were going to actually focus on gameplay and make a longer game. But I'm not going to get it if that's the end of the fucking studio.
This is the direct consequence of years of the Freedom Trap playing out. The bill is finally coming due.
We want to take bigger creative risks and create genre-defining games without the constant threat of annihilation.
Yeah, they're going to say that and then get rid of everything that isn't Gears of War or Halo. And nobody wants Gears of War or Halo. Everybody's hyped for it, for the new Gears of War and Halo, but you're going to get it, and it's going to be meh. They might be great, but then it's just going to be downhill again.
We want to make our own games our own way, and not be told what to make and how to make it.
But you keep making sequels. You can't make your own games if you're making nothing but fucking sequels and remasters and remakes, reboots.
This reset is painful, and it's incredibly frustrating. A lot of talented people who poured years of their lives into these games are going to lose their jobs and see their teams broken up.
Too bad. Put the fries in the bag, bitch. We've been warning them for years not to go down this road. And so much fake pushback, so many chronic defenders, and here we are.
It sucks, and it's okay to say that, but the correction was overdue. And it was always going to happen.
Yep.
Pain deferred is pain multiplied.
Hellblade was created with a small...
You're wrong, Fables. You're just a hater. Why are you complaining so much? I'm not complaining. I love this shit.
Whole team of just 20 people and extremely limited resources. Imagine what we can now achieve with our whole team of 100 people, backed by Microsoft, focused purely on Ninja Theory's vision.
By avoiding the hard calls for years, they turned a manageable correction into something far more severe. Leadership is ultimately a trust but very...
You should have been making more games. Smaller. Dude, back in the PS2 days, you were getting 20, sometimes 30, 40 bangers per month. Generation-defining games all the time. We're still getting it. It's just not coming from one platform. It's coming from few from this platform, few from that platform, mostly from PC.
Verified business. And they forgot the verify part. They also seemingly forgot that games is still a business, and this party was always going to end. My hope is that new leadership under Asha Sharma takes a hard look at what went wrong. That they have real postmortem.
It's too late. They're going to have to cut it. Microsoft is going to have to cut Xbox It's going to have to be like its own company, maybe still under the Microsoft branding, but it's going to have to go the ways of LinkedIn, and it's going to have to basically cut all of the first-party studios, I think, and they're going to have to go full third-party. And then eventually, they're going to inshitify themselves into non-existence.
Real changes to how they manage money and people, creative freedom, accountability. And if Xbox can do that, they can come back stronger. They can have healthier studios and better games.
It comes the end of our time.
Yeah, and then the news about Sony comes out, and Xbox is definitely going to get rid of physical games also. I mean, Sony's doing it, and they made fun of them over a decade for it. They originally wanted to do it first, so, now it's the green light. They can go ahead. I ain't going to buy it. I don't even buy Xbox games on PC. I just bought, 20 games in the summer sales, and I spent, $40.